Hi, I'm Hannah Jones and welcome to this week's MASTS Cast. You have just seen the video clip advertising the call for abstracts for the MASTS Annual Science Meeting this year. The event is happening online and it is running from the 5th to the 9th of October, and we have 9 themes for where you can submit an abstract to. The deadline is the 14th of August, so make sure that you get it submitted before then, and more information can be found out on the MASTS website as well. In this week's MASTS Cast, the weekly online update video that we circulate to the MASTS community about things that they should know about and things you can get involved in, I have an interview with Corallie Hunt, a PhD student here, about her first published paper, and I also chat to Oliver Peppe from the BGS about their recent survey that they have out and how you can get involved and help them out too. But first, a quick mention about the MASTS webinar that happened this week. It was presented by SAMS researchers Lucy Novoveska and Adrian McLeod. Their talk spoke about micro and macro algae in Scotland and the potential that it has. If this is a talk that you would like to listen to or check out the Q&A, then please check out the video that is linked below this video and you'll be able to see it there, along with all our other MASTS webinars that have happened earlier this year. Please check out the last webinars that we have for the rest of the season before we give ourselves a bit of a break for the MASTS Annual Science Meeting. If there's a talk that interests you, please check out the registration link that is below this video, and you will also be able to see all our previous webinars there too. This week has been National Marine Week, and in light of this, Marine Scotland has released a series of papers regarding marine renewable energy and seabirds this week. But there will be more papers published in the next coming weeks as well. So if this is something that interests you, please check out the link that is below this video for those that have already been released, and follow them on Twitter or follow the blog post that this is related to. If you are a student who works on marine mammals and you are based in Scotland, then you'll be pleased to know that the UKIR of the Society for Marine Mammalogy is being held in Scotland in St Andrews in association with the Sea Mammal Research Unit. There will be a lot more information to come on this event, so keep an eye on the website to stay up to date for when they open the call for abstracts and how you can get involved. 2 weeks ago, I chatted to Professor Beth Scott from the University of Aberdeen and also one of the co-directors of the Supergen Offshore Renewable Energy Hub. We spoke about many things, but we also mentioned the flexible funding scheme. It has just been announced that this scheme has been awarded £1.2 million, and a lot more information about the call will be coming soon. If you want to stay up to date about this, I recommend that you sign up for their newsletter, follow them on Twitter, and just keep an eye on their website as well. And now for my chat with Corallie Hunt. She is a PhD student at the University of St Andrews and has just had her first paper published. In the paper, they outline a new methodology for predicting the distribution of organic carbon in surface sediments. I asked Corallie, what is this method?
So we use a traditional seabed mapping technique to produce a spatial map of surface sedimentary organic carbon. Acoustic backscatter data, which is what we used, can be used to infer sediment type on the seabeds. And we know that there's a relationship between organic carbon and finer muddy sediments. So we hypothesized that we could use the multi-beam backscatter data to create a predictive spatial map of organic carbon.
That's great. So how does this method compare to what might have been done previously?
So multi-beam systems can map much larger areas and shorter timescales. Our method leverages that. And we also use video footage of the seabed to help validate that backscatter picture and classify what we're seeing in the signal. And that allowed us to create a more optimized sampling strategy to make sure we were collecting representative samples when we actually went out to ground truth that backscatter picture.
Okay, that's really interesting. So you're able to get more data for less cost. So with this new kind of methodology approach, what were you able to find out about the area that you were working in?
So our main findings were that the backscatter uncovered quite a heterogeneous seabed in Loch Crieran, which was our study site. Loch Crieran is a fjord, and they're generally assumed to have quite homogeneous muddy sediments, and this wasn't the case, and that had implications for carbon storage. We were able to translate that backscatter to a predicted carbon value based on function of sediment type that we ground truthed. We estimated that there were about 12,000 tonnes of organic carbon in the top 10 centimetres of sediments within Loch Crieran, and that's equivalent to about 45,000 tonnes of carbon dioxide if it was all remineralised. But our improved spatial understanding allows us to get a a view really of the important depositional areas within that environment.
So we're able to get more data at this specific area, and you found out predicted how much carbon could be stored in this type of sediment in this area. Why does that matter? What's the benefit of knowing having a higher resolution picture of what's happening on that seafloor?
We need better estimates of our marine carbon stocks. They're currently limited, and we need those to produce more accurate national carbon baseline stocks. Also, understanding the spatial variability of organic carbon and carbon hotspot areas on the seabed allows planners to make more informed decisions about the role that the seabed can play in carbon storage.
If this is a paper that interests you, then I really recommend that you check out the link that is below this video. It is open access, so you can read it wherever, whenever you like. Next, if you are a scientist or researcher that needs to take more than 1 meter depth cores from seabeds or lake beds, then you need to fill out a survey. This is being conducted by the BGS, and I briefly chatted to Head of Marine Operations, Oliver Peppe, about this survey.
Yeah, so the Marine Operations team at British Geological Survey have 40 years of history in developing and operating coring equipment for the marine science community. And we now find ourselves at a stage where there's lots of change in the funding landscape, and also a lot of rapidly evolving technology. And we want to make sure that we're in a position to make the best use of that technology and understand the needs of our users, and in particular scientific community, in order to provide the best service to them. And that's why we've decided to go out with this survey to gather the information from people.
So the survey is about seabed and lockbed coring and drilling. So I guess you are looking for researchers who use that kind of technique to fill out this survey, am I right?
Yes, so we're very much focused in this survey on the scientific users of our services. And so we're looking for any scientists who need to get cores from the seabed or the lake bed to participate. We are really looking for people interested in deeper coring, so more than the first meter below the seabed. So we're not so much looking for people who are taking multi-cores and mega cores, box cores, that sort of thing, but it's really deeper coring.
And I should clarify, is this a survey for anyone in the UK who does this type of work?
Absolutely, anyone in the UK scientific community.
Excellent. And just a little bit of information about that survey. How long do you think it takes for anyone who needs to fill it out?
So about 10 minutes or thereabouts, yeah.
And the closing date is?
The end of August.
Excellent. So plenty of time for us to badger people to fill it in as well. Thank you very much, Oliver. I hope we get lots of the MASTS community who do this type of work filling in this survey and informing you about their work as well for the future too.
If you are a scientist that this survey applies to, then please check out the link that is below this video. We will be nudging you nearer the deadline as well, the 31st of August, to fill this in as well. That's everything for this week, so stay safe and have a great weekend.